All right.
All right. Welcome back to episode 9. Of course, as always, to the Dark Dungeon of Pop Culture, the Jabbas Dungeon podcast. With, as always, Tyler, Avery, Chad, and myself, the biggest Kristen Melody simp in this end of the valley. So, gentlemen, welcome back.
Welcome.
Greetings.
Ooh, got the liquid death. Gents, have we watched anything since the last time we spoke aside from the main topic at hand? I don't think I have.
I don't think I have either.
You watched Romulus, finally.
Oh, yeah, Romulus. Pretty damn good movie, I'd say. Has everybody here watched Romulus, or has only like a few people? So, okay, 2 people. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, that certain reveal at the end of an organism. What was your thoughts on that?
I liked it. I thought they could have easily made it into a second film. They could have had the alarms going off or whatever. It's not really much spoilers because I feel like it's kind of like in every alien movie nowadays. But if they had the alarms going off and like showed a little bit of the snippet of like what was going on inside, and then just like cuts to black, they could have done a whole movie with that. I think that would have been a really fucked up movie, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it was definitely wild at the end with that reveal and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think it definitely had, only seeing the first Alien, the best, what's the name of the robots? Tyler, someone help. Synthetics. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Andy.
I loved
that
Andy.
dude.
Loved
He's
him.
so wholesome.
I loved him the whole time. Like that, he was like my favorite bit of the movie. He was really good. Really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys need to watch Romulus just for Andy because he's so good. And that director, Fede Alvarez, he done the 2013 Evil Dead. He done Don't Breathe, and I believe he done something else I can't think of off the top of my head, but really good director. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see him do another Alien or just something else. Maybe even like a revival of another franchise or something like that, because he's definitely got like a good direction as far as the way he does scares and everything. Have you all seen Don't Breathe?
That's the blind guy, right?
Yeah,
I watched that. I haven't seen the second one, but I thought it was pretty good, especially like there was a really disgusting scene in it with the syringe. So I thought that was
with the little turkey baster.
That's one of the only parts I've seen.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that's a very good movie. Fede Alvarez didn't have anything to do with the second one, and I feel like the second one's, I hadn't seen it, but I feel like the plot is kind of tone deaf because it makes the old man kind of the protagonist, and considering what you find out that he does at the end of the first movie, you're kind of like, how could you ever realistically side with that guy? But Tyler, you liked the 2013 Evil Dead, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that Don't Breathe is kind of like it's like not as brutal, but it's brutal and it's got some good suspense to it as well. So Don't Breathe, I think that came out in like 2015, 2016.
It was around then, yeah.
So I feel like 2014 to like 2016, there was definitely some hitters as far as like some underrated horror movies that came out around that time. Because I was thinking the other day, one that we should discuss eventually is As Above, So Below, which I feel like, especially for like a found footage film, is pretty solid. And it takes place in the Paris catacombs. Yeah. I feel like I said, for found footage and the place setting, pretty solid. Then I thought of like Lights Out and It Follows, like that era of horror films. They were kind of like, I feel like they were still stuck in the old way of like kind of doing like horror films like in the 2000s, and then it was kind of like bridging the gap to kind of what we have now, which is cool. But yeah, Tyler, you watched Twitches, whatever that was.
I
The
saw
Disney
that.
Channel.
What is that?
It's two girls that are from a mystical land that are witches. Their father is killed by his brother, and the witches, as babies, their power transports them to present day Earth, and they grow up not knowing each other, and then they run into each other one day, and they're like, "Oh my god, you look like me! Wow, we're sisters!" And then they go on a quest to go back and defeat their uh, avenge their father's death. And I don't remember if you guys remember from high school, but I love the Thanos truck, like meme.
I don't know if I remember it.
This is even better because the father's brother's name is Thantos.
Thantos.
Thantos. So yeah, I watched that. I think I watched it last Halloween too. It's like just a nice like Disney Channel kind of vibe. It's pretty cute. Um, and then I'm almost finished watching Pumpkinhead, and this is like my third attempt at watching it because the past two times I've fallen asleep.
How is that?
I like it, but it also has like a very none of the characters are really that likable kind of tone to it, you know. The
Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing for the movie we're talking about later.
To a degree. I like the dad. I mean, he's really the only likable character in Pumpkinhead. Um, I mean, the practical effects, are pretty cool. But
That's Stan
yeah,
Winston on the practical effects. For
that's
sure.
pretty cool. I think I've got like 20 minutes left in the runtime.
Mm. I feel like for whatever reason, especially when I was younger, I remember, I think it might have just been like the cover of Pumpkinhead or something, and it
Hmm.
just kind of like fucked with me. But I don't ever remember watching it. But you talking about watching it kind of gives me more initiative too. I mean, I don't know. I
I've
feel like that's
always I've always seen it on like apps, but like I've never
mhm,
pressed it.
yeah. Well, you gave Twitches a whopping 2 stars, so hopefully Pumpkinhead can surpass that.
Pumpkinhead's probably gonna be like a 2.5, 3.
Mhm. Chad, how many movies have you watched since we started this?
Like this week or this podcast?
Just this podcast right now. In the past like 10 minutes, how many have you finished?
I've watched about 75, and two
he
episodes of
watches
like
them.
82.
You watch them on like 2 times speed,
Just
subtitles on.
not even that. I just like click it all the way through and I'm done.
That's headcanon to me that you're watching shit
Yep.
as we're doing this.
YouTube is pulled up, but it's paused.
Oh shit! All right. Well, boys, recently, as far as TV watches, we had The Penguin episode 5. What were our thoughts on that? I thought it was a rather good episode.
That's the one thing I didn't get to. Yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead with spoilers. I'm gonna watch it tonight after this, but I just ran out of time today.
I feel like it's not too. I feel like there's not a lot that gives away to the actual story. It's just kind of like characters and plot elements, and
Okay.
at the most, it's like side characters. So
Okay.
I don't know. How do you all think we should proceed?
I mean, I agree. I don't think there's much to to spoil because it's kind of like the last episode's really just it set up what was going to happen in this episode anyway.
Yeah.
Other than like a character dying, but not like an important character. Like
Yeah, I feel like there's two characters that bite the dust, and it's too epic to not talk about.
the other
So
one actually, I wasn't thinking about the big two
yeah.
because yeah,
Now
then
I just remembered what
yeah,
you're talking on. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I wasn't thinking about that one.
Like I said, I'll probably watch it either tonight or in the morning. So talk more
Okay.
about it.
All right. Well, as far as the opening, what the fuck even happens in the opening? I can't even remember. One of the first things I wrote down that kind of like stuck out to me was whenever they pick up the Maroney kid at the tattoo parlor because he had his headphones on. Oh, Oz has TikTok. TikTok is canon. TikTok is canon in the
Dude,
Batman universe.
I fucking cringed at that. I was like, oh my god, like what?
That's gonna become like a crazy meme template. He's gonna like, please be like,
Think.
boys, watch this. And he pulls up some like fucking BBLs.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to jump on that where it's just like our podcast up there, like one of our,
Yeah, he's
one
like,
of our
boys,
shorts.
watch this. And it's me shitting on Adam Sandler and
Yeah.
Chad blowing our minds. But that when he pulls up TikTok, he finds out that the Maroney son is getting a tattoo done, I guess, which I don't really know how this works with the time because whenever he pulled that up, he was getting a tattoo done, I think, or he was at the shop. And then when they pull up, it's like during the day. But either way, he's got the headphones on and he's listening to music, and it's like all and he's in the foreground, and in the background you get some of Oz's dudes busting in, gunning everyone down, and then he's kind of like, what the fuck, takes his headphones off, and then they start chasing after him. He runs out of the tattoo parlor, and then you get Vic getting hands on, knocking down the dude, walloping him a couple times. It's pretty sick. You definitely get some more initiative out of Vic. That's what was happening in the beginning. Vic was kind of just really putting his foot down as far as his loyalty to Oz in the beginning.
Also, like in the tattoo parlor, whenever he has the headphones on and they silence out the gunshots firing in the background, where it's mainly just the song he's listening to, which I like touches like that.
And my first thought was like, damn, the suckers are soundproof, man. Bullets going off.
Got them bows or something. And another point that happened is Gotham police are investigating the crime scene at the Jesus Christ, the Falcone house, and Sophia's kind of running them through. Supposedly it happened. We get the chief of Gotham, the guy from the Batman who sounds like he's always in need of like a drink or clearing his throat. He said he always talks like this. What'd you say? And he shows up and tries to find out about Johnny Vitti because for whatever reason he was one of the only ones that was not present whenever everybody was killed. And we come to find out that she is holding him hostage. I think it's kind of like it's almost like the Falcone mausoleum because they got some of her family buried over there in like tombs or whatever next to where he's at, and she's torturing him slightly, which sign me up next. And okay, so this leads into the kind of big death that happens. So Oz is holding the Maroney son for ransom, and he tells Salvatore and his wife that he'll hand over their son if they give him the shrooms, which is like which helps develop the drops. And they meet at a warehouse, and whenever Oz is passing over the Maroney son, he's like drenched. So you're like thinking he's been like covered in water or something like that. And as the mother's embracing the son and they're hugging, Oz flicks a lighter and drops it, and it leads and extinguishes or lights up both of them. And that was pretty fucking sick. Like, that felt like the most Penguin character trait that we've had so far, because I just felt downright evil.
Yeah, just staring at it, smiling. I was like, fuck, he's definitely gonna get the fucking throne doing all this shit. And I thought that was a perfect way to kill them both. I was like, like leading that to her and then setting it on fire. I was like, that's brutal.
Especially with them embracing. I mean, it's like mother and son, so it's kind of like him and his mother. I mean, it's just some really fucked up parallels. So, then the fire extinguishers go off in the warehouse, and they quickly get in the truck and take off with the shrooms. And whenever they go to like take inventory of what they got, like I would say 80% of the shrooms that they got were either bad, or whenever the flame retardant stuff came down, kind of like destroyed them. So he's in a lot of shit, because at this point we find out that Salvatore is not dead. Mr. Krabs lives, and he said he's on the phone with him, and he's like, all right, Oz, you're fucking cooked. And he's like, oh, you want to talk about cooked? Try and call your wife. And I'm like, holy fuck, this dude is just like digging himself a deeper grave, and he even knows. That's what I love, is after he hangs up, he's like, fuck. But I mean, he is big balling in this episode, just laying them out. And then he, as just like some sort of comfort, I can't remember it. I think he calls Vic. And he's just like, tell me, is my mom okay? Because there's just so much bad shit happening in a row for him. He just needs some semblance of comfort that his mother is okay. So she's okay. He tells them to get out of there. They go to Crown Point, which is Vic's old stomping grounds. And what I like about this is the first time we've seen Crown Point post Batman with the flooding and shit. And it's crazy seeing the difference between inner cities and Gotham and then Crown Point. Because in Gotham, it's almost like they've really, kind of settled everything down. It's almost like that's, far back in the past. But in Crown Point, it's like ground zero. I mean, it's like so run down, and there's like looters and gangs and stuff in the streets. And it's just really sad. One for Vic, just being his old stomping grounds, and just seeing what it came to, and just showing the difference in the districts in Gotham. Pretty wild. And then this leads into Sophia letting go of Johnny Vitti, because he says, I wasn't there for your mother. I'll be there for you. Like, let's work together. And she's like, okay, let me entertain this. And then she goes to Sal Maroni and tries to align herself with Maroni. And she's dropping the Falcone name. She's going by like Giordano or something like that. Something with a G.
I think it's Giordano.
Yeah. And she's trying to side with Maroni, and he's thinking it's kind of fishy, but she's wanting to create this big, powerful alliance to take down Oz and rule the city. And Oz checks in on Vic and his mother in Crown Point. His mother is not quite happy with him, with the situation they're in at the moment. So Vic and Oz go into the underground trolley tracks that Gotham has, and we get a little bit finally of the back, kind of a little insight on Oz's brothers. What we hear from him is the city took them. So, and I think that's about all it leads to.
Mm.
There's not much else that is really alluded to, but we're getting hints of it.
Oh yeah, and there's like a when Oz was laying in bed with his mother, she brings up his father. I forget what she said, but he said that he's nothing like his father. So we're getting like little hints there and here about like the backstory of the family. So I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah, I didn't catch that part where he was talking where they were talking about his father. So I mean, yeah, that's
It
another
was
thing. Is just
it was
slowly
like
peppering it in.
just like a sentence. Like I forget what she
Hmm.
says, but where she said you let me down, or he says I feel like I let you down. And she she goes you did, and I was like, God dang, like son, she does not hold back. Like she's not there sometimes, and then she's there, and then she's super critical, and kind of makes Oz, I guess, try harder in a way, but it's the bad mentality to be in.
Try harder, but in like all the bad
Hmm.
ways. Again, just some slight toxicity. And then finally, we get Oz and Vic finding basically a new base of operations in one of the parts of the Gotham Underground trolley track, which looks like it'd be pretty cool. A lot of people have been thinking that this might lead to them running into the Batman at some point.
I kept thinking, I was like, I was thinking about the Batman, and I was like, was I couldn't remember if the Batcave was in, or the start of the Batcave was in like the sub area. Like I couldn't remember.
I couldn't remember either for sure.
Uh,
That's one part about the Batcave, or just one part of the story that I can't necessarily remember. Is I want to say that it was like one of the points that was built underneath for like the higher ups to kind of like go through.
mm,
So maybe the trolley would go through there. So
that'd
that'd
be
be pretty interesting.
yeah, that'd be some shit. Oz finds the Batcave or like a part of a Batcave. That'd be insane. But I don't think it's going to end good for Vic or maybe the mother because of that. The guy, what was his name, like Squid or something. He saw them go into the place. So yeah, he has Chad. He has they call him Squid, but he has tentacles on like tattooed on his hands, like squid
Okay.
tentacles. So I thought that was kind of fucking
Dang, I didn't realize that.
yeah. He got like yeah, it goes down his fingers. It's like
I think he was. I think he made an appearance in the beginning of Vic's backstory because he was like kind of one of the dudes where they were like, "Yeah, you don't really want to mess with that guy."
mm,
Hmm.
So yeah, he is definitely going to cause some ruckus for one of two of them because Oz is going to take him out. So
them tentacles are gonna strangle the mother. Little,
hmm
little
she's got
fingies.
one foot in the grave. She's got one foot in the grave, anyways.
Hmm.
I feel like once his mom dies, then Oz is just going to go completely
Yeah.
off the rails.
The humanity of him is going to be gone. I feel like he's going to blame it on Vic too, because Vic is watching over
Mm,
her, and that's going to be the the end of Vic. That's going to fucking ruin everything. Humanity's gone, and Vic's going to be gone if something happens.
hmm
So,
Because remember, whenever he was talking to Vic and telling him, you need to go visit my mother, he's
mhm.
like, my mother, she keeps me good. So that
Yeah,
kind of made me think, I'm like, fuck, what's him bad?
yeah, yeah.
uh, but I really like this episode. Sophia, mother was mothering. Oh, she shot Johnny Vitti in the head. That shit was pretty wild. Yeah, that was at like the big kind of conference meeting that she was having with the family. She was like, the Falcons are dead and gone. This is all about my legacy. The Giuliano legacy will start now because that was her mother's name, and shit was just pretty sick. She's surprisingly one of the best parts of the show. Because
Mm.
I wasn't anticipating her, to be such a good integral part in the beginning.
Yeah, I could take a show just of her. And I've heard rumors on Twitter that she's going to be a big part in Batman too. But
I've seen that as well.
the note that I had that was just blood money where I wouldn't forget is I loved how she took the Falcone money and paid all those goons. And
Hmm.
Vinny's fucking blood is just on the table. She throws the money on the table and it literally turns into fucking blood money. And they're just all grabbing it. It's getting all over the fucking money. I thought that was such a sick fucking scene because it's literally what it is, blood money. And then they're just making it what it is. I thought that was awesome.
I love the one guy that was sitting right next to him. Like he starts to kind of like lean over to like grab some of it, and then she's like, "You guys can have it."
She was, go ahead. And then they all just swarm in. I mean, she's a fucking boss. It's gonna be crazy to see what her interaction is gonna be like with Oz whenever they, come back face to face.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like I don't see her getting killed in any way by Oz, and I don't see her obviously killing Oz because he has a bigger role to play in the Batman. But I mean, it's maybe a 50-50 thing. Somehow he's gonna weasel his way out of it again. Which I mean, at this point, how can you even let him? I guess it makes more sense now because he's going underground, so he's laying more low for the shrooms also.
Hmm.
I want to see how the shrooms will pay off because I do want to see some type of scarecrow involvement with these, but if not, it's whatever.
I was thinking, I mean, like, can they somehow get, Jonathan Crane in on maybe, bringing in or developing maybe a more of like, because right now drops are really just kind of like almost, like a modern day equivalent of some like hard
Hmm.
drugs. What if Crane could come in and like crossbreed some mushrooms and make, like the fear serum?
I was thinking because it just popped in my head now. Like, what if because he only has the 2 buckets, so he could try to find who made it originally and maybe can't find it or they can't duplicate it, and then he just stumbles upon Crane and he makes something that he thinks is going to be what he wants, but maybe Crane has other ideas. I think they could definitely bring him in. I would like to see their version of Scarecrow. If not, though, it's fine, and it could just be like a new drug. But
I feel like at the very least, I mean, they don't have to introduce Crane into the series, but maybe, with how Penguin, plays in the Batman Part 2 and Sophia, maybe either of them two could introduce in Crane. Like maybe Sophia could hire out Crane to, get these fear serum drugs kind of interlaced with the regular drops, and then that just kind of kills the business. I mean,
mm,
there's a bunch of different ways you could take it, and I just love to see how Matt Reeves could do that.
yeah,
See, I was gonna say maybe even like how they kind of set up the Penguin miniseries from the first Batman show. They could introduce him in the Batman 2, and if they wanted to give Scarecrow his own little miniseries, they could do that after.
dude, I would love
Mm.
them to do a bunch of villains if they go into like depth like this and really give like these characters that's been around for years more of a character development and just show them instead of like I know there's a bunch of character development in the comics, but like not this is completely different. Like I think it's a genius way to do it, and I would love to see more. Like I would fucking watch a show of Mad Hatter. Like it'd just be interesting in Matt's world. I think his Batman world really comes together nicely.
Because I feel like we were really on like the tip of the iceberg with Christopher Nolan's Scarecrow.
Hmm.
I mean, he was good. Cillian Murphy is one of my favorite actors, but I feel like Nolan didn't really play into the big kind of comic, aspects of Scarecrow that he could. And like Scarecrow, I think there was two different designs for Scarecrow in the animated series, but one of them really stands out in my mind just of how he's illustrated and trying to bring that to live action. because I mean, Nolan's Scarecrow is like just had like a potato sack on and then like a suit. But I mean, he was still cool.
Yeah, I
But
always wish they would have done more with him. I loved him in the first one, and then it kind of sucked when they did only just like a few scenes with him in the courtroom, him being like a judge. I
and
wanted to
then he
see
was
more
like
of
in
him.
the beginning. He was in the beginning of The Dark Knight as
Oh
well,
yeah.
which I always forget until I
Mhm.
watch it.
Yeah, he was caught. I always liked him. I thought he fucking like he was unnerving the way he played him. And now they got in
Mhm.
Arkham. What's his name? Shit, the actor that was in Lord of the Rings and everything.
In the Penguin.
No, fuck, I forgot who plays him in Arkham. The new Batman game and the VR game. I can't remember that
Oh,
actor.
okay.
Elijah
Is Elijah Wood in Game of Thrones?
Wood. No, he's in the new Batman VR game as Scarecrow. He's Crane.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays him really good, but I've only seen like behind the scenes.
For some reason, I thought you said Game of Thrones, and I was like, I don't fucking know any
No,
actors off Game of Thrones.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was questioning myself. I was like, what the fuck did I say? Like, Jesus.
We need to leave the gaslighting to Tyler. I haven't forgot that. Scarecrow, Matt Reeves' Scarecrow is just a gaslighter. He like doesn't no literal gas. He just be gassing people up. Well, and Clayface. I mean, Clayface is one that would always be super sick to see in live action, and Matt Reeves with just kind of how he's got his horror aspects and just how intense his shit is. It'd be really cool to see what he could do with Clayface.
Like a lot of people say, like the Matt Reeves, like DC fans, especially, they say, "Oh, Matt Reeves can't do it because he wants to be grounded. He wants to be super realistic and such." But it's like, bro, you got a fucking dude that's Batman zipping around doing a bunch of stuff. He's just a normal dude. Like it's psychotic, but he doesn't have to play in that playground of super realistic. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of this, as realistic as it seems, it's not. I mean, all this stuff is, you know, I don't know. They could do a Clayface.
And one thing I've been getting pretty deep on, I feel like I've been jumping in headfirst into the Matt Reeves Batman universe because just one, the Penguins just got me so caught up in rewatching the Batman a couple weeks ago on Spotify. I've been listening to this director's commentary. They got like a whole, it's kind of like a podcast series, but it's just director commentaries, and they got one for the Batman. I've been listening to it for like the past like 3 or 4 days, and just hearing all the like insights for the Batman and just how things came to be and how he approached things, how he took so much inspiration from Batman Year One with Frank Miller, and it's just really cool to see. I mean, because you can tell, dude's actually a fan of the source material, and he tried to adapt it, as faithfully yet realistically as he could. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't think it's, if he's trying to make it too realistic, dude, you got Batman walking around in like a fucking leather cape and a fucking wingsuit jumping off of the police station. I mean,
that's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, you think it's real, but the motherfucker jumped off a building and slammed into like a building and just walked it off. Like, what the fuck?
I would recommend listening to that director's commentary just because it's super cool hearing his inside stuff, and I still haven't finished it. But yeah, shout out Matt Reeves and shout out the Penguin. New episode, definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to get into some recent pickups before
Okay.
the topic at hand?
I got one.
Where Avery goes to town,
Hey,
gaslighting on opinion.
Hey. Hold on, I have to grab mine off the shelf real quick. Mine came in today. I've had it on order for a long time, and it came.
Or as Chad lovingly refers it to as, which geeks me out because you always say it, show and tell.
That's pretty much what it is. I mean,
it's so funny. You said I got my thing for show and tell.
Oh, my blanket. The only thing that came in the mail recently, I've been second guessing these a long time because they had McFarlane do these Batman animated before, and it looked horrific. The models of it looked bad, but now that I've noticed that on the animated Batmans for McFarlane, they're starting to tiptoe into the old DC Direct. So they're grabbing those molds, bringing them over, kind of repainting them sometimes. Not the best paint on some of them, but they've brought some of them over that it was on sale. I bought it, and it comes with like a little stand, and it has a little art card that it's kind of like the King Kong one I have. It has a white around it, and it's pretty big. And it has like a scene from the Batman, and it has information on the back of it. I'll probably put them up later on. Not the best on articulation, but I just like how it looks. It was on sale. I was like, I'll buy it just to see how it is, and I would probably buy more just for like the art cards and these sitting on a shelf.
So that's from the New Adventures, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is a cool one.
Oh,
Tyler, what
is
haul do you
DC
got this week?
is the Batman? That's not DC Direct. Wasn't the Mattel line, right?
I don't think so. I might be wrong though. Man. There's several DC Directs. If I'm remembering correctly, it was in DC Direct because I remember going. I don't know why I keep saying. I remember. I went. I went into Books a Million. It probably was like a year or so ago. But they had a lot of these DC Direct. They had really good molds of like the first season and the second season of all these different characters, and they had like Red Hood that's never been in the animated before because they do new adventures on comics, and they have like these new characters introduced and whatnot that weren't in the original. They had those molds, and they were really good compared to like these ones. And then when McFarlane was starting to do more and more, I've noticed that they grabbed these type of molds. I don't know. I don't know if they were like from the same ones or not, but they're slightly different because that one was from like season 1. This one's obviously from like season 3. Uh, But there was like comparisons that I've seen that there are people that had their original ones and then the McFarlane. There's like a little bit paint differences. The Two-Face one I saw was worse with the McFarlane, but I don't know if I answered that question or not, but I don't think it's the same.
Eh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are like new, but the newer ones that he's releasing for pre-order look better than the first ones he's done, but they're neat. Like in a minute, I'll go ahead and grab it. Somebody else can go, and I'll grab it real quick.
Tyler, you go, boy.
Well, only figure kind of thing I have is this is the Star Wars segment of a Star Wars themed podcast. The new Imperial Super Commando for Mando Season 3. He is I don't know how well it's going to pick up on camera, but he is a shiny boy.
He looks good. That one I've seen pictures of. I really like that one.
That does look
I
good.
hate with him though. So usually on gun wielding characters, you get up and down on the gun holding hand and side to side on the other. This one is up and down, so you can't get him looking straight down the sights, which is stupid. But I mean, he's just gonna look good standing next to like the Mando Season 3 characters. And the product images had him with like a bobblehead kind of syndrome, where the helmet was too small. But
I
I
think it
think
looks pretty good.
in person it does look a little bit better. Actually, on camera, I'd say it's perfect.
Yeah, I can't tell like a disproportion. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, the paint looks good.
Yeah, it landed on that department. But this past weekend, I went to Scarefest, which was pretty cool. Yeah, so I sent most of what I got already in the chat for you guys to see, but I'll whip it out here.
Clipping this right now for later.
I've got course, my goal was I wanted to meet Nick Castle and Dick Warlock. Dick Warlock's line was just always. It didn't seem like it would take a long time, but it was constantly full of people. And when you get to a convention, time goes by like that when you're walking around. But I got lucky enough that when I went by Nick Castle, nobody was in line except these two older ladies in front of me, and they were like, just being like, oh, we love like just generic, love Halloween. But dude is so sweet to everyone. I don't know, he just
Really?
seemed like a real genuine guy. But when you go up to the booth there, to kind of pick what 8x10 you want him to sign, they've got a bajillion of them, and I'm like, you know what? I've always loved the picture with the Dr. Pepper can.
I love that photo.
So they had this one, and then the one where he recreated it for Halloween 2018. I pick this one. I walk up to him, and he's just like, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good, man. I love Dr. Pepper." And he just like laughs. And he's like, "Yep, that's a good choice." And then he said something that was kind of incoherent, but like he asked me a question, but I couldn't understand what he said, so I just said, "Yeah."
Oh,
And then
fuck.
like then it was just like the guy working the booth walked over and was like, I'll take you guys' picture, because it was like if you buy the autograph, you get the picture for free kind of situation. So then he came over and we got in shot and took the pictures, and then he's like, have a good, weekend. Nice meeting you. And I'm just like, all I could say to this guy was, I like Dr. Pepper.
That's a good memory, though. That's fucking funny.
Like,
Tyler tries to has a conversation with a remotely famous 77-year-old man.
yep. I think he's 67, actually.
Look, I just fact checked. Man is 60 or 76 or
Oh,
77.
77. Okay.
So
So
Dick Warlock, you said that man was old. So like, I
he's in it.
wonder if everyone in line knew that, like, that's why his line was so long. They were like, "Yeah, my man's not got a long time." He's 84, and his birth name is Richard Lemming.
Yeah.
He picked Dick Warlock. That goes hard as fuck.
Like, I mean, the pictures I saw of like people like meeting Dick Warlock, I mean, he just looks like he's also same just genuine happy guy sitting there loving the attention. But if we would have had more time at the convention, I would have definitely went by Dick Warlock and got a picture and autograph from him. But maybe if he's still kicking next year,
Damn.
I mean, I'd love to meet him, like at least the two OGs. But yeah, and then there was our picture with Skeet and Matthew Lillard.
Hell yeah,
That was
dude.
cool.
Were they nice?
With that one, it was more of like the where we paid for the professional photo op.
It was
They're,
kind of like, yeah.
What sucked? I mean, like she had a better experience than I did, because like the couple in front of us, the guy was still talking to Matthew Lillard as we were walking up. So Matthew Lillard was kind of like more like directing me to get next to him as he's still talking to this guy. So all I got was like a pat on the back from Matthew Lillard and like like a head nod. I mean, he still seems friendly, and everyone says he's like great. I can't say anything for that. But when Michaela went up to Skeet, she said that she kind of was like getting that like anxious feeling, so she was like like walking up to him, and he had to like, let's take a picture, which I completely missed because of my situation. But I mean, yeah, they were cool, and the picture's pretty nice. But
Yeah, you look hot.
thank you. I go to a horror convention, and the one thing that I actually buy from a vendor is not horror related. It's Star Wars related.
Ah.
I loved
Oh,
this dude
shit.
had a big gigantic poster at his vendor booth.
That's very
of
like
this.
Ralph.
I love.
That's very Ralph.
Yeah.
McQuarrie. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
like
Yeah.
the original artwork. That's fucking awesome.
It really is nice.
Yeah. Like, dude, this was like his main picture at his booth, and I saw it from across the vendor floor, and I was like, I don't care how much his small prints cost, I'm getting one.
Yeah, that's dope.
Everything else he had was horror related, but a lot of it was in black and white, which is still really cool. But just how the colors pop out on this.
Mhm.
I love how it's like he's emerging from the sand. It's really nice.
Yeah. So hey, there's a card in here. I'll give him a shout out. Why not?
Oh snap!
Carl Wilson.
Oh, he got QR codes. Hell yeah!
Yeah, getting them QR codes.
Nah,
Yeah.
because that print is actually hard as fuck, and I told you all I love the Tuscan Raiders.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
So, and then I got my shirt from Scarefest, and that's it.
Hell yeah!
What would you rate the whole day out of 10?
I'd say like a 8. Organization, definitely not a strong feature of any con. But yeah, I kind of wish we showed up a little bit earlier. But
Yeah.
when any of the cons I've been to have been very small, so I wasn't anticipating the size of this one. So for future reference, probably want to show up a little bit earlier. But other than that, I had a really great time.
All right. For my pickups, shout out to Avery on this one. He hid this guy for me
Hell yeah!
in a secret spot. Got Mankind, Mick Foley. This actually is attire that this is the attire that this figure is based off of is from the night he won the WWE Championship, and that's a super crazy moment just because of you had Steve Austin coming out and The Rock was there. It was a fucking really cool night, and that had like a crazy pop to it. I mean, the fans were going absolutely nuts. So that's an ultimate, and I was very glad you saved that for me.
Yeah, dude.
And while I was out there, I found this guy, an AEW figure I didn't anticipate getting, but this is Darby Allin. I'm kind of thinking now to maybe start getting some of the people that I've actually met, because I've met Darby Allin. I met Mick Foley when I was a kid, but I met Darby Allin within the last couple of years, and he's a pretty cool dude. From the little I spoke with him, and his figure is actually pretty sweet. And only thing that sucks is there's like not much in the way of articulation when you got the coat on, but you can pop his hands off and take the coat off. But he's kind of all painted up on the inside, and it's pretty sweet. And it's about to scale with the WWE figures. So if I was to ever want to like make a display for them, I could. And I'm probably not going to be collecting too many AEW ones, but for the people that I have met, he's one of them. And I thought it was pretty cool. And it was a Walmart exclusive as well.
I need to get a ring.
It's seeming more and more in the future because they got a ring, like a proper scaled ring where you can like put on the mats, the turnbuckles, and the ropes, and that's coming out in January with the Ultimate Rhea Ripley, which would be pretty sweet because we love Rhea Ripley, and it comes with the ring. So, and as referenced on the last podcast, and one of the most best molds, and just again goes to show why this is one of my favorite figure companies. Got the NECA McCready, and dude, I mean, I feel like you don't have much in the way as far as posing him because I don't know about you, Tyler. Um, you have this one, the one that came with like the bottle and the glass of like alcohol.
Yeah.
How the hell do you get those into his hands? Because I was having a time trying to do that.
You could probably try the blow dryer method,
Mm-hmm.
where you just warm up the plastic.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know how I have mine posed. Let me grab him.
Yeah. Just trying to even pose him two-handing with the shoddy was kind of rough, so I just kind of got him in this posted up pose. But you got him with his fucking epic hat. Shout out his sombrero that he hated. The shades. It doesn't look in the much way like Kurt Russell, but
Yeah.
pretty sweet. I mean, like that could just be, just sitting there like that. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't really need to put him in any crazy poses. Like you can tell who that is. You're still muted.
I've
Yeah.
got mine just chilling in like a default.
See, that's what I was saying. I feel like even with having him trying to two-hand the shoddy, that was kind of hard. So I just got him kind of in a generic, like, posted up pose.
Mhm.
I was saying also, I don't know how yours is, but I feel like mine doesn't really look like Kurt Russell at all. But, like, you can tell who it
It's
is.
sort of.
You can tell that it's McReady, but it doesn't look like
Mm.
Kurt
Mm.
Russell as McReady. Like
Yeah,
uncanny
definitely.
valley.
Yeah. If you've ever seen it, I've only seen it once, and it was when I was working at Target for a short time. It was like in a buggy, and it's the thing the dog's morphing into, like that atrocity that it was, and the box was just like huge, but it looked like an ice, like it had like an ice texture around it and stuff like that. It was really cool. I wish they would make more characters. I feel like NECA does this thing where they release like the monster to some movies, not all movies they do this, like the monster and the main character, and then they just do not do anything else unless they do like a deluxe version of the character. And I wish they would go through each character. Like I would love to have Childs and the rest of them.
Childs would be awesome.
And they do
Childs
that.
with the flamethrower.
Yeah, like they did the prey predator, but they didn't do the female. It's like, what the hell?
I wish I would have gotten the McReady that came with the flamethrower.
Yeah, that was the deluxe, right, or something?
I have McGreedy. Yeah, I have him with the flamethrower. But what sucked, because he has a normal head like that. But like I was thinking, because so yours, Tyler, came with the hat with that head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has the normal head, and then it also has the
like hood.
Yeah.
So,
but the.
Oh, okay. So you both have the same one. I have a different one. I had one where he has like a yelling head. That head. Well, he had like the thing over like the snow stuff over his head where he's yelling, and then I got that head. But I didn't get the hat, but I got the flamethrower. The sucky part about the flamethrower though is mine broke. So the strap that goes around his shoulder, it just one piece snapped off. So it's very fragile, sadly.
I was trying to pose, and what I was asking Tyler was if what I was referring to was if the one that Avery got was the deluxe or whatever, since it came with the flamethrower and stuff. I don't know if that was like a newer release, but
I thought mine was the basic one, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
One of the accessories that actually, and this is the first time it's happened on a NECA accessory for me, so I mean I can't really be too mad because I got a shit ton of NECAs, but his lantern. I tried to get his lantern into his hand, not even like forcefully, but it just went. I could not get that shit back in.
Mine's also broken.
That must have been like, I would like to. I mean, I wonder how old that is. I mean, because it's really good in sculpting, but as far as like likeness, it's not great. And I feel like most NECAs are pretty damn good about likenesses, especially on like the monsters.
Yeah.
I'd say out of every line of figure I've collected, I don't think I've had anything break except NECA accessories.
I agree.
Because I feel like the plastic they use is like so stiff that even when I've tried the warming up method, I'm still breaking stuff. Or the hoses on the original Predator pop out so easily. The staff that comes with the Predator from Predator 2, that skull mask that it has, the staff broke one day, and I only had the figure like 2 days.
Yep.
And it just tipped, and the staff snapped right in half.
My staff broke too. It was like the tip of the spear. It just it felt brittle and it just snapped right off, and I was like, "Fuck me!" Like,
I feel like for normally what I do with my NECAs, I mean, I usually do like the Jasons or like a few Universal monsters. I feel like the Universal monsters, I don't ever really. There's just not much that comes with like accessories as far as they can hold, but different like sculpts on the hands and the heads and stuff. I feel like that's pretty solid. But yeah, as far as like accessories, because I feel like they are kind of in a way where it's more, just to be displayed on the shelf. It's not really all about articulation with the NECAs, but they're probably still like one of my favorites just because they look really good on a shelf.
at Best Buy, I didn't take a picture of it, but they had the full like display. I don't know if Frankenstein comes in it, but it was the black and white Frankenstein. But it was like the big box where I guess he has a table inside of it. I didn't open it, but yeah, they had that one up there.
See, that's the thing that gets me sometimes is I think they just do like, accessory packs. Like so you get the figure and then you can buy an accessory pack, but especially with those universal ones because they do black and white ones,
Mm.
those accessory packs only come in color. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so that's kind of a thing with them, but at Frankenstein and the Creature from the Black Lagoon are like probably two of my favorites that I got, and I literally just got them like got Frankenstein like this. I think I got Frankenstein like this, and like and then I got Gillman like this. So, Chad, any pickups?
So I bought this on my trip to Columbus.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
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 My
so
favorite suit.
is that like
So-
that's a full on mask?
Yeah.
hot take.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't have anything to like display it with right now, so there's an old Capri Sun box that's holding it
Oh,
up.
hell yeah.
So I'm going this week to get stuff from like Hobby Lobby or something.
Hell yeah.
And then Hot Topic had a sale for it was like buy two get one thing free on everything. So I bought a couple pops.
Oh, that was pretty sick.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
That's cool.
I bought a One Piece one, but I don't even know where it's at anymore. And then I bought this one.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Bro, that's so hard.
I love the boxes on them. Really cool.
I don't know, I like the black on them and stuff. So,
That's sick.
but that
That
was
is really
really
sick.
all I seen because we had time to kill when we went to Newport. So
is that
Awesome.
Spider-Man mask? Is that the Marvel Legends?
no clue. It was just up there, and I liked it.
Because I want to say Marvel Legends has a Spider-Man
I don't
mask.
see any
Do they?
markings on the back.
I think, unless I'm going crazy, maybe it's more of like
No,
that's out.
I don't. I might be wrong. I thought it was just the hard. Like, I thought the Spider-Man mask was just like the Iron Spider.
Maybe
Like
it
the
is.
hard mold. I might be wrong though. I might have missed. I don't know because I don't really keep up with the those type of things. But that looks good if it's not.
So
It's sick.
they had
Yeah,
one
that's really
there. I
dope.
almost got it. It was a Predator mask,
Mm.
but they wanted a lot for it, and that was like I think that was like 40, and they wanted I want to say 90 for the Predator mask.
For 40, I mean, it don't have like a face shell in it, does it?
No,
Oh well, fuck. Yeah, hell yeah. Just put a face shell in there and be Spider-Man.
yeah, there was like one up in there, and then when he took it off the shelf, he took it out, so
Oh.
he put another mask in it, and I was like, great, thanks.
You some bitch.
It was like some like couple that had just bought the shop like 2 months ago, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just trying to get rid of everything, so anything you want, we'll talk about."
Fuck yeah.
And they gave me their business card, and they said like if I see anything on eBay, just message them, and they'll just bundle it up together for me. So, can't remember what the place was called, but it was a good shop. I have the card around here somewhere.
Nice.
The last
was this?
thing was like this picture thing I was going to show. And it's okay. It's okay. That's all it is.
Oh, that's sick.
I thought they'd be cool to collect with the figures. Like, this is what
Yeah.
mainly made me want to buy it because I was like, I wonder how the quality is. And it looks pretty nice. I feel like the photos online look better, but some of the other ones look nice. And then it has like when it came out, where this scene is, like air date September 20th,
Oh, that's
1997.
cool.
Story by, directed by. I think that's really cool, actually. Now that I look at more of like who directed and the story and whatnot, and it gives a
Mhm.
synopsis. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing like little things like these ones and putting them in the middle and kind of filling out the wall.
You should.
I fucking also found I had more of these Hellboy cards from the documentary, and I knew I put them in a book in there on my shelf in the closet. I knew I put it in a book because we were moving around stuff and I was doing something with Paula, and I put my extra cards in a book, and I was like, I could never remember what book I had it in, and it was just in my closet somewhere. And one day I was like just going crazy, and months later, yesterday or the day before, I just picked up one of my Hellboy books that was like it's filled with all the art that Mike Mignola did during COVID, and they just fell out. And I was like, what the fuck? Why would I put them here? But I'm glad I found them. Fucking months later.
I love how it's got the all the information on the back. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I wasn't really reading too much about it earlier, but I really do like how the air date, the director, story by, animation services, music by, episode title, and all of it. So, I think I'll definitely collect some more of these, put on the shelf, and then just start framing these.
And that was DC Direct, you said?
But this one is under McFarlane, so
Okay.
a lot of them are on sale right now. If you go to the like on Amazon, they're on sale. I don't think this one is anymore, but
Mm.
just under McFarlane, and then they have their own little section called the Batman Animated Adventures or the New Adventures.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this leads into this was actually a long ploy. The reason I have this mustache, I was gonna find my finest red button up and white jacket, but alas, I got my red light on. Boys, today we are talking about
That's a pretty cool
Halloween 3.
art on that. Actually, I fuck with that.
Okay, so this is I was telling you all, I got like first Halloween to Resurrection all on 4K, and this is Scream Factory. So Scream Factory is a really good company to get horror media from. But yes, we got this glorious man and his mustache.
I should have fucking just shaved my beard as well. Just have my mustache.
We all
on.
should have just gone on, had a mustache. Our best Tom Atkins cosplay.
What can I
What really
fuck?
fucked what really fucked with me was I didn't realize Tom Atkins, or I like subconsciously forgot he was in The Fog, but he doesn't have a mustache in The Fog. And genuinely, when I watched him in The Fog, I was like, this guy has a really big upper lip. So his mustache just balances him out, because I swear to God, in The Fog, his like upper lip is like this wide, and it's pretty insane. And I'm pretty sure he macks on like 19-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis in that film, which is befitting of him as an actor. He was just like, I need to be slinging it this entire time. I need to be a pimp. They're like, as you wish, Thomas.
I love that out of all the John Carpenter movies that I've watched, it's usually always returning cast from another movie.
Oh, I love it. I fucking
Like,
love it.
I guess we can go through it, but did you all catch the returning characters from the original Halloween and Halloween
We
2?
got Annie Brackett. I recognize that. We had Annie as Dr. Dan, Dr. Dan's wife, ex-wife, who was from Halloween 2.
Dick Warlock.
Ew.
Who was Dick?
He plays the first android synthetic hitman character, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That gets.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure he's the one that gets crushed between the cars.
Oh, nice.
And then Jamie Lee Curtis's voice does the
like the curfew.
Yeah.
I knew
And
that sounded familiar. I couldn't put like who the fuck it was. I knew that sounded familiar.
I knew I had that bead of sweat going down my head for a reason. Started to get hot flashes. I knew it was a reason for that. Love you, Jamie Lee. But this was my first time watching Halloween 3. Chad, I think same for you.
Same.
Avery, it had been a while since you
It's
had seen it last.
I remember
Yeah.
being a kid, and I used to be like obsessed with Michael Myers. I would get the mask and everything. Halloween time would come, and I'd be him. And I remember distinctly, my mom got me that, and she like I think she rented it, and we put it on, and we were like, this is not Michael Myers. Like we knew, like when we watched it, we were like, what is this? But yeah, this is my second time watching it.
And Tyler, you've frequented Halloween 3. You've took a dabbling pretty often, yeah?
I think this is my second or third watch. I think
Okay.
I think third. I know this is the second time I've logged it, but I think I've done it 3 times.
So, I mean, as far as the world and subject matter at hand, we're all still relatively new. I didn't really know what to expect going into this. All I do know was I did love that opening kind of title sequence where you get the title, you get the actors. It did feel kind of like a modern, well, I say modern, but more of like a updated rendition of like say the intro to Halloween or like the original Halloween or Halloween 2 where it forms into like the digital pumpkin. You got the blue to contrast with the orange background. I thought that was pretty neat. And then it leads into man. Well, first it opens to like this wide shot, which I thought was really gorgeous. It was shot again by Dean Cundey, which had done, again returning John Carpenter personnel, even though this wasn't directed by John Carpenter. Dean Cundey did the original Halloween. He did The Thing. It opens on this wide shot of a guy running through the streets of California, and he's getting chased by a car. You don't really know what's going on, and he's hiding behind some stuff in a junkyard, and then he gets attacked by this guy. And as Tyler was saying, he has him on the ground, he's choking him, and then he pulls this tire block out from a car, and the car just like slowly comes in, which was really cool. I mean, for like a first kill, it was pretty neat. Just smashes the guy, and he runs off into the night. He goes into this like gas station attendant shop, I believe, and and is basically like help me. And then the gas station attendant takes him to the hospital, and I love how he just like nopes the fuck out of there. Like after he takes him to the doctor, which we're introduced to Dr. Dan. Shout out Tom Atkins, you're a fucking horn dog. He takes him into Dr. Dan, and he's like, man, I don't know like what's going on with this. Like, do you need me to stay? Like whenever people start talking about like, something's about to happen, then I wanna, And then as the guy starts freaking out again, the gas station attendant just like pieces the fuck out. And all the while he's in the hospital, he's clutching this pumpkin mask. And we come to learn that's the silver shamrock mask. So then, as he's sitting in the hospital, he's asleep. We get another silver shamrock android, I guess, and he comes in and he just like what did they say he did? He just like split his skull open. I mean, it looked really like crazy whenever it first popped off.
Dude, I thought you like took it off like a mask almost.
That's
Not
what it
to cut you
looked
off.
like.
It seems like he just split like where his nose was, just like apart, and also like
Yeah.
out. And I was like,
Dude,
oh, okay.
yeah, it was gnarly.
And I like how he had his gloves on and he went over to like the little room divider and just wiped his hand on the gloves his gloves on the on the rag, and it was just like fucking sick. Then
Yeah.
the lady, which you got this older lady nurse, which you learn Dr. Dan again, a horn dog. He like starts grabbing this older nurse's ass and like starts whispering sweet nothings into her ear. I'm like, wow, this is kind of crazy, some work harassment perhaps.
I don't
And then
think it
she
was
comes in.
harassment.
No, it was very much welcomed. It seemed. And she walks into the room and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And then she comes to find a horrid scene. She starts screaming. Dr. Dan awakes from his horny slumber and runs after the guy. And the guy douses himself in some gasoline, jumps in his car, and just off he goes. That was a pretty wild opener. I feel like what you get as far as the android one sneaking into the room, and then the abrupt killing, just how violent it is, and then Dr. Dan chasing after him, and then it kind of all leads into such a violent death for himself. I mean, as far as an opening scene, it came in with a heavy hitter.
Yeah, I agree.
I, did, I did not expect him to, douse himself in gas and then just, blow it all up.
Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. I thought the opening was pretty solid. I liked it. It's just I felt like the dude had a fucking boner the whole fucking movie. Okay, like I felt like every scene I saw him in, his cock was just raging, dude.
In my notes, Dr. Dan is a horn dog.
Dude, I thought I was gonna get fucked by watching this movie. Like,
That was my second note, because he was grabbing that nurse's ass, and I'm like, holy shit, this woman is like bridging like 60, and he's like trying to fuck. He's like, I knew I should always took you out. And I'm like, holy fuck, man. And this is just the beginning. Then we come to learn not only is Dr. Dan a sleazy, guy, he's also a bad dad. So that's great. He finds the man who got killed in the beginning. His daughter finds him and identifies him, and then Dr. Dan goes on a adventure with her to the mask making facility Silver Shamrock, and they both go together. I love how Dr. Dan is just so like unashamed. He's calling his wife. Well, first of all, he called his wife and was like, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to pick up the kids tonight." Rightfully so. Someone just killed themselves in front of him. That's understandable. He said, "I'll pick them up next Saturday." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair." He calls from a payphone, probably like the Friday of, when he's supposed to hang out, like a day before. He calls from a payphone. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be busy this weekend. I can't do it. Sorry about it, toots." And he's got a can of like a 6-pack, and he like gets in his car and starts driving away with this chick that's like half his age. And I'm like, what a piece of shit. I was like, wow, this guy is really unashamed. He is like, you know, breaking this news while he got the 6-pack, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to fuck." I'm like, "Holy shit, dude!"
Duty calls and he had to go.
Yeah, he was like, "Time to investigate and potentially get some ass."
Couldn't even
And
get the right
then
kids.
what?
Couldn't even get the right masks for his kids.
Yeah, the mom already got them the Silver Shamrock masks, so
He's
more
like,
on that
oh
front.
man.
Whoops.
See you next
Um,
time.
and then they go to Santa Maria, I believe it was Santa Mira, and that's where the Silver Shamrock facility is, and you're getting a really good score along with all the shots of the people that live there, kind of just eyeing them down. and it really adds like a layer of atmosphere where it kind of feels like almost like a Twilight Zone episode where there's this town that's only inhabited by like people that are under a certain power for the person who runs it. So I thought that was kind of cool as far as what it could show just by them entering. I wrote all Dr. Dan has to do to pull chicks is have a killer stash because, God, this made me fucking cringe. Actually, thinking about it makes me very much cringe. They're in the hotel room because, of course, they need to rent a hotel together. They got to act like a couple. That was the first thing they jumped on. And he asks her, he's like, hey, if you'd rather me sit out in the car, to make you more comfortable, that's fine. And she's like, well, then maybe it wouldn't make it so convincing. And then she's like, well, what would you like to do, doctor? And he's like, I think you know what I'd like to do. And I'm like, fucking kill me. Fuck.
And then just the like immediate.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude.
he just immediately goes in. I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, this was the moment I was like, oh, fuck. This is where it's going down for me. Fuck.
Oh, it's so cringy. Just recounting it just makes me fucking cringe.
I live for it though.
Oh my god.
God, I bet
That's the
Tom
thing this movie
Atkins was
brings.
bricked up during it.
Probably the whole movie.
Oh my god. All right, more on this later.
Fuck.
Because it's not over. Dr. Dan goes to get more booze because he's trying to fucking drug this chick and fuck her, basically. And then you get this, like, it's a gorgeous shot of, like, the big, like, wide open street, and then him walking out of the liquor store. And then he runs into this bum, and this bum is like, hey, your bottle looks heavy. Why don't you let me help you with that? And he shares the bottle with this bum on the street corner. I'm like, what the fuck do you have, Dr. Dan?
Doesn't the bum say, like, I don't have any diseases or something?
Yeah, that was what I said.
And I'm like, Dr. Dan, what the fuck, dude? This is like during the AIDS epidemic.
He came out of the shadows. I was like, that was probably like personally, I was like, that's probably the creepiest this movie's going to get.
Oh my god. And then he gets some more insight about Connell Cochran, I believe it is, the dude that runs Silver Shamrock. And then the bum's like, yeah, I say, fuck Cochran, I'm going to kill him. And then after Dr. Dan's like, all right, like grabs his bottle, cleans it off. He's like, all right, see you later. Then the androids come after the bum, and it's a fucking gnarly kill. They rip the bum's head off straight up like a mask, and you get like a little bit of like spraying kind of, and you just like see the head and stuff, and it's really like cut together well. Like some really peppered in some really cool death scenes.
When they hit in this movie.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
I mean, take your pick. What's more uncomfortable, the death scenes or Dr. Dan trying to mac on some, like, barely of age,
Oh, yeah.
Either way. All right. I said Dr. Dan will be the death of me. He said, well, after they had fucked, and like you see some like some fornication, you see some kissing on certain parts. It's quite steamy, and then afterwards, they're just like kicked back and stuff, and she's wanting some more of that Dr. Dan dong, and he's like, I'm tired, Toots. How old are you, by the way? And I was like, what the fuck? What? What? Asking that now? What?
Gonna need another case of beer for this.
Oh my god! And I was like, Jesus Christ! Fuck! Oh, and that the lady next door, by the way, gets fucking a rock from the Shamrock mask blasted. That was fucking sick.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote.
Like,
I wrote crazy gore.
Mm-hmm.
It split her mouth open, and you had the insects crawling out of it.
Yeah, every death is good, in my opinion.
I love that, like, the only dialogue. Is there her name Marge?
I
Is it
believe so,
Marge?
yeah. Something like that.
All you get with her is her being like, "Oh yeah, the quality of these masks are going down. Something weird's going on. Talk to you later."
Yeah, and she points out the fact that the little like emblem on the back fell
Yeah, it was
off, and then she
yeah.
was tinkering with it later, and it led up to that fucking gory scene. That's a really cool one. One thing that did give me life after such cringy Dr. Dan action, and we saw his ass cheeks too. Is whenever he comes back to the hotel and I didn't even write down her fucking name. Whatever happened to her? Whenever she like got abducted and he starts, trying to flee from the Silver Shamrock androids, and you get like the score, and it's just like kind of him peeking and hiding. He's in a phone booth. He's peeking. He's hiding. It's all cool. When he makes it into the Silver Shamrock facility, one of the most scariest scenes in the film to me, and it's a fucking haunting shot, which I love, is when he opens the door and it just cuts to that woman
Mm-hmm.
sewing in just darkness, and it looks so eerie, and he
Yeah.
walks up to her and starts shaking her, and the head comes off, and it turns out to just be like an antique, I don't even know, an
Yeah.
antique. That's what Cochrane said. He's like, "Oh, this is from the 1700s," and it's like, "Is it really though? Is it
Yeah, I
really?"
felt like that was maybe like a hint of like an early Android or something. Because it looks
Yeah,
so freaky. Like that scene I really liked a lot.
that was probably one of the eeriest. Like, it done it in a subtle way, and just the shot was just fucking wild. And then Dr. Dan does the Jason Lives kill onto the android. He pulls out his fist and it's covered in honey mustard, and he realizes, these boys aren't all what they cracked up to be. And then Cochrane reveals his big plan to him. It leads into the test room A scene, where it's that family and the kids got the Silver Shamrock mask and the dad works for Silver Shamrock, and Cochrane, he initiates that commercial where it kind of connects with that badge in the back, and then it starts melting kid's head, which I love how the mom is like, don't sit too close to the TV, it'll burn your eyes out or something like that, and or it'll make you go blind. And then no, it just made his head melt, and insects and snakes come out of him, which was wild. The dad got bit by the damn rattlesnake that came out of his son's head. That was quite wild. um I've seen that clip in the past. Chad, what was your initial reaction? Had you seen anything leading up to that?
I had not. I was very confused with like the bugs. I was like, okay, they're coming out, but then snakes just started showing up too, and I'm like, what's next? We getting like crocodiles and like elephants coming out of this like little kid. So it confused me, but I was like, whatever. This whole movie confused me.
Yeah, you kind of just gotta be like, whatever. All right, yeah,
Yeah,
it's the '80s. All right, and then, uh, holy shit, Dr. Dan, he gets he's like trapped in the chair. And he has this amazing trick shot where he like wriggles off the mask and he like perfectly throws it onto the camera. I'm like, dude, sign up for fucking some Dude Perfect, because that shit was like 1 in a million. You just done that on a whim, Dr. Dan. Holy, no wonder you got your PhD.
he's been practicing for the ladies. Like he just goes to the bar and just like throws things like dartboards and stuff.
Yeah, like it was nothing. And then that leads into him meeting the one girl, and they escape. Um, Cochrane looks like me when I'm trying to not to act too high in public. As he's starting to die, he just like kind of fades out into like some static. Um, and then as they're exiting, you get them in the car, and the girl reaches over and starts choking Dr. Dan, and you figure out that she's an android. Now, I don't think she was an android the entirety of the film. I think it was just like whenever she was captured, they kind of done something with her. But either way, it's hilarious. He like first I think he like rips her arm off, and then he like punches her head off or does something.
He uses the arm. No. What the fuck did he use the arm to knock her head off? I can't remember.
Use the
off.
crowbar.
It was giving me like some Evil Dead vibes just because it was so fucking goofy. Like he like because then the hand, it was just the arm and it was choking him and he was like trying to pull the arm off, and then her headless body starts like trying to attack him. I'm just like, this is fucking insane.
When it was in the, I feel like that scene I felt like was almost unintentional when the arm was in the side of the door and it, like the body was already outside the car and he closes it and he like screams. I almost feel like that was not intentional at all, and they were like, let's fucking keep it. Actually, we're gonna add a couple scenes because we like it. I felt like it was unintentional because you fucking saw the arm. Come on, no.
I feel like we need to get Tom Atkins on this podcast and be like, dude, you were slanging some cock in the 80s, my boy.
I was waiting for him to like scoop up the body that wasn't, like armed or anything, just to take with him,
You know, just to get some reps in.
It's of age.
Just to get some reps in. Yeah. He said, how old are you? I'm like, holy fuck, dude.
Did she say like I look older than I am or something like that? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she was like, I'm older than I look. And that just made me also feel still gross. That was not reassuring.
Yeah.
And then that leads kind of, in a big circle in a good way. I feel like it leads into Dr. Dan going into the same gas station attendant's shop, and that guy is like, hey, don't I know you? And I think this is really cool. It's him calling the different TV stations to get the Silver Shamrock ad pulled, which I don't know how much validity, I don't know how it was back in 84, but I don't know if a dude could just get an ad pulled. But he gets the first one removed, he gets the second one removed, and then there's kids that are trick-or-treating that come in with the Silver Shamrock masks, and it's the third station, and Tom Atkins fucking, for however he was in this film, he fucking knocked it out of the park in this last scene, because he's like, still in the third station. You need to change it. It's still on. You need to change it. Change it. And then it cuts to black, and that's a really good ending. I mean, for how disjointed and many ideas are going on in that film, I feel like that ending was just really...
Yeah, he had to make up for everything else.
So, cat's out of the bag. Avery didn't like this one too much, which you love to hear. We got some differing opinions. Please, give me some insight. Was the Dr. Dan just like absolute like lust, just not doing it for you?
The whole movie, like the beginning was good. Like I liked it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then once it started diving deep into like it was I liked the aspect like this dude's shitty. Like, he's co-parenting, whatever, but he doesn't really give a fuck. But then it was just like this dude died. It's her dad, and then he was like, I could do something with this, and then he just fucking goes off. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I get he's a shitty character, but like, you're really gonna chase tail this fucking hard, dude? Like, damn. And he does, and he gets it. But it's intentional to make you feel uncomfortable and to like kind of almost hate the character in a weird way.
Is it though?
I don't know.
Or are they like, this guy's a fucking G?
Yeah, he's a fucking
all of
pimp.
the fucking 80s construction workers coughing off work. They're gonna be like, yeah, this guy fucks and he's got a killer stash. Like, where are they being self-aware? I wonder.
It was just so like his dick's in your face the whole time, and I was like, I kind of want to get back to the horror. Why the fuck are we still on to this? He already, tried to get ass in the hospital. Now he's chasing tail so hard. You could tell how hard his dick is the whole time. Like, but I mean, the kills. I really do like the kills. Like how the android. I like that that first one kind of freaked me out. Like not the first one, but the second one, I guess, where he like kind of splits his skull and it looks like a mask coming off his face. That was pretty brutal. And then like taking the head off, like another mask type thing. I thought that was cool. All the killings were nice. Um, I didn't get the android thing at all with her becoming an android. I was like, when the fuck did they have enough time to do this? Like, what the?
At the state-of-the-art medical facility inside of
Yeah.
the factory.
I was
I
like,
really didn't get the aspect of the androids in the film at all. Like I don't really like I don't know if I missed it, but I was like I don't know how androids came into this.
I,
I didn't get the
I
aspect of the whole movie.
yeah, it was a weird like season of the witch. Like, are they trying to? I don't puppets or something. I don't understand. I would have rather them have had some type of magic thing with people, and they just brought him in, maybe under a hex or something. I don't know. Like, what was up with the whole circle? The the beam from the block. Like,
From Stonehenge, like that whole.
yeah, like he explained a little bit of it, but I was still fucking confused. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like,
That was one thing that
The-
made me mad was like the title being Season of the Witch, and the only like witchy thing that's mentioned is just like the altar, like the blood sacrifice, and I'm like, this makes no sense.
I-
Chad, I don't think
Where's
we
Selena
got to
Gomez?
your. Where is Selena? This is
That's what I'm
season of
here
the
for.
witch. Where's Selena and at least Sabrina? Where's either of them?
where the
Just
fuck is
someone,
Agatha?
anyway.
Chad, I don't think we got to the point to where you had rated it yet. What would you rate it out of 5 stars?
Probably like 1.5.
Holy shit.
You might get a 2.
Tyler, are we agreeing?
Well, I put it higher than you did.
Hey, you put 3.5. I put 3. I mean,
I mean,
we're
close
like
enough.
same wavelength. I love it though. I mean,
I didn't hate watching the movie. It was just, it was all over the place. There's just so many different concepts they try to do, and maybe if if it would have got a second one or something, maybe it would have been better because they could have explored more things.
Just more dick slinging. I don't think it would have got
Yeah,
better.
I mean,
yeah. I think it's unique where you came from as far as the aspect you didn't like before you started it, you didn't know like that it was like completely its own thing, right?
mhm.
Yeah, so like it would have been funny for you to be like, yeah, you got to watch Halloween 2 before this, and then it leads into it and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I was gonna watch like a recap real quick because I was like, there's no way I'm getting both of those movies in. So like I had a recap saved on YouTube that was like 30 minutes going over, Halloween 2. And then
Mhm.
when y'all said that, I was like, I don't need to watch this anymore. I was going to,
Yeah.
but
Tyler, as far as a rewatch, was there any 3.5 stars, what was doing it for you? Because I feel like there's a certain 80s charm to it.
Hmm. The first time I watched it, I did have a lot of the same opinions that Avery and Chad have, with just
Mm.
being like, what is this like bonkers movie? And it was one of those, like, I was just like, I understand why no one likes this compared to the rest of the franchise. But I mean, as like times went on and like thinking about it and rewatching it, it's the charm of being straight 80s vibes, campy, cheesy, off the wall ideas. And the one little bit that I do also like is how, with Halloween 2 and Halloween 3, the only connection that they do really have is with the mention of Samhain and Samhain, however it's pronounced. I like the tie of, in Halloween 2, that's kind of like part of Michael's purpose of what he's doing on Halloween night. Connell Cochran also is, he speaks about Samhain. So just more connection between those movies I appreciate from like a reference standpoint. But I mean, yeah, I think just as time went on, I appreciate cheesier stuff. So I understand it's not everyone's like cup of tea.
So I
Yeah.
know in the movie they play the first Halloween is like it's supposed to be a movie in the
Yes.
in the bar.
so I guess would that mean Halloween 2 also takes place in
That's what I'm wondering. I don't like that. I don't like that like reference. That's so weird. And it wasn't like, and I wrote a note of that, but I wanted to save it till the end. It's the fact I knew there was the one reference, but there's two references, and like at the end, it plays through like a good bit. Like it's not just the advertisement. He's watching the movie,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, yeah, if Halloween 2 exists in this universe and it's directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, did fucking like is Tommy Lee Wallace exist in this season of the Witch universe? But he fucking directed the movie. It's really weird. I think they were kind of like maybe stroking themselves a little bit. I don't know. It was just kind of odd because it was like it seemed like a self indulgent kind of like reference maybe.
Okay.
Because it was more like with the story of the first original Halloween became a classic. John Carpenter didn't want to come back and do Halloween 2, but was forced to. Wrote the script in 10 days. Bam, got Halloween 2. Wanted to make the franchise an anthology series where each installment would be a different story. So I guess that's more so just to like let the viewer know Michael's
This
not
is
showing
different.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
which ends up backfiring on them because then everyone complains that there's no Michael.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to talk about it in a literal sense, I mean, that is, most likely the reason they did do that. It is just, it's very odd. I feel like if they wanted to, not have any expectation of Michael Myers, they should have never titled it Halloween 3. They should have just done Season of the Witch, which I understand that the production company was more than likely telling them they need to put Halloween in the title. Halloween's going to sell. But, it's unfortunate. I mean, it is an original idea, which is cool, but it was panned a lot given that there was no Michael. But I mean, it's not a great movie, but if you know what you're getting into, it's like a fun little 80s romp, some slight misogyny and some androids and potential disease spreading and all that good stuff. And the Irish are in it.
Yeah, nah, I'm not rewatching this shit. This shit sucks.
I feel like it is only you can only watch this shit in October. You can't watch it anytime ever
I'm gonna have to
other than
be.
October.
It's not gonna be a sober October, I tell you that. I'll tell you that right now.
That's what I was thinking. I should have been, on something watching this. But
That's just me though. I would get more out of watching an '80s porno than this movie. So I get the same thing. Diseases and shitty acting.
well, mustaches, some questionable differences in age.
Okay, well that I don't know about that one.
Well, that's what was happening in this. It was definitely questionable with Dr. Dan and his patient's daughter. Yeah.
Maybe if you like remade it nowadays, tweaked it.
On like he hits on every patient's daughter that just comes in there.
Oh Jesus! He's like,
Sorry,
come
you
here,
lost
sweet.
your father, but do you need to go out for dinner?
Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. I'll tell you his last words.
Oh
Come
god.
here. Come here. God.
I'll leave you alone with the body unless you want someone to join.
Well, where would you rather be, Doctor?
Oh my god.
I think you know where I'd want to be, Toots. Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell. Immediate
All right,
kissing. Immediate kissing.
All right, Dr. Dan, fuck you. I just need to I need to rid my mind of him. I want a Dr. Dan NECA figure, though, unironically. His NECA figures are really hard to come by.
Yeah, because I think they came out last year for Halloween 45, and there were a bunch of them where they were signed by Tom Atkins.
Nice.
Which I think it's the 8-inch like cloth figure, isn't it?
Yes. All right. Well, if you boys want to skedaddle out of here, let's hit these news topics and yeah. For news, one of the recent ones that dropped was the Creature Commandos trailer. which is an animated series in James Gunn's new DCU, which looks pretty fucking cool. I'm excited for that. James Gunn is really good at these ragtag teams as far as like his writing and stuff, and I feel like the fish lady looks cool and the robot looks cool, and you got like a Frankenstein lady, and it's like I'm really excited for it. I plan on watching that
Yeah,
whenever it drops.
looks really solid. I'm still like, I watched Peacemaker and that was really good, and then they're doing a season 2 that is like kind of different canon wise, but then like I'm just thinking of like all the characters that have surfaced because you had the last Suicide Squad, and then you had Weasel in it, and now Weasel's back. But if you guys have watched that Suicide Squad movie, Weasel died. I'm pretty sure. So I don't
Yeah.
I don't know like what's canon and what's not canon because Peacemaker season 2 is canon, Peacemaker season 1's not canon, and now you got Weasel back. I don't know what's being thrown into the garbage and resurfacing. So, but in that trailer, we get to see Clayface, and that is our first, not really our first look into the Batman universe because we're getting the Jason Todd and Dick Grayson duo movie. But people are saying that it's more of like a fantasy Batman that we're getting because that type of a villain. But if he's coming into an animation, then he's going to be coming into live action, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, that was our first look at Clayface, really, and looks like it's going to be pretty sick.
A lot of gore in it, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm. Which, is another thing that's cool about the animated DC stuff that they're able to do. And we got news that Predator Badlands is supposedly going to release November 2025. So that's pretty cool.
I'm excited. I saw on Reddit earlier, or maybe it was Twitter, where like the little information it had on it, like I was like, two sisters are going separate ways, and you're like, well, that does not sound like a Predator movie, but I guess the description for Prey was a little bit like the same. It was kind of like that's what I saw somebody say. At least it was kind of like brief, and it was more about like the woman that was in it. I really hope that the Romulus director gets to do a Alien versus Predator because I feel like that could be really cool. I mean, I would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. Seeing what Fede Alvarez could do. I mean, because he cooked with the Xenomorphs. I mean,
Yeah, they really.
Or I mean, even if he could collaborate with the director of Prey, I mean, that'd be pretty unique because they had a really good take on the Predator and Prey as well.
Yeah, I hope that it is true that we're getting Prey 2 and Badlands because we just need more Predator nowadays after the shit show that we've gotten with the was it just called Predator?
The Predator,
The
yeah.
Predator. Yeah, that was the worst. I fucking love Predator movies and comics. I read it all, but that movie was absolute garbage. Like
Yeah, that shit sucked.
the take of like a fugitive predator getting away from like these predators that are adapting themselves or evolving themselves. That was a cool concept until you fucking brought the humans in.
Yes.
Well,
And
I'll restate. It's not always bad when you bring humans in, but that story in particular was bad with the humans.
yeah,
The way that I guess disabilities are portrayed as
A superpower.
that, and then just very by the number stereotype.
Yeah.
wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I seen that movie in the theaters, and even then I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is bad.
It could have been cool. It could have been cool if they just stayed with the fucking theme of a fugitive predator getting away from an evolved predator. Like, you could have done something sick. Why does it have to be Earth all the time? Like, you can do cool stories, but that one was just like, what the fuck are you on? Are you, like, straight meth or cocaine, like, before you did this? Like,
And just threw it together. And cue the Wesley Snipes clip from Deadpool versus Wolverine. Blade, MCU's Blade, has been delayed indefinitely. Are we surprised?
No, not at all.
Yeah, no.
After the few times that they kept having script, problems, I had a feeling this was just going to get probably canned. I know it's indefinite, but let's be
It's
honest,
probably gonna be,
it's
yeah.
probably going to be scrapped because you just got Wesley Snipes in Deadpool, and the people that did not expect that, me fucking just like also saying in theaters, what the fuck out loud, because that was not in my head at all that was going to happen. I think a lot of interest has been, shown for him. So I don't know. Maybe they're rethinking it all. Maybe they're like, maybe we don't need a new Blade. Maybe we just do the whole multiverse thing and bring the OG back.
I know they were thinking about they either want to cancel like that or I think it was Armor Wars. And I don't know why they chose Blade, but
Yeah,
that's the one they picked.
To be fair, I think Armor Wars has like been in limbo for like years and years and years.
it
It was
has.
a TV show, and then they moved it to a movie now.
Mm.
So
One thing I was gonna say, Mahershala Ali. Someone suggested this on Twitter, which, fan casting on Twitter. But for DC side, Mahershala Ali as Martian Manhunter would be fucking badass. That would feed families.
That would be nice.
Because he's got like the voice and, for a human Martian Manhunter, whenever he's in his human form, that'd be pretty fucking cool.
That would be cool. Yeah.
And then we got Mike Flanagan doing another Stephen King property. He's already got The Life of Chuck coming out, which is based on some sort of Stephen King property. And he's got something else in the works aside from this, but he's got a Carrie mini series that he's producing. So
Well, he's
cool.
doing that along with the new Exorcist movie.
Okay,
Like,
that's it. Yeah, he's juggling a bunch of projects.
Yeah, he was saying that he wants to make the Scariest movie. I'm pretty sure, something around that. So he doesn't want to like do a remake, but to make it, I don't know, Scariest movie. I don't know. Yeah.
I feel like if there's someone to at least, give a decent shot at it, Mike Flanagan is one of the more competent horror directors you could give it to. He's a lot like a Fede Alvarez or a like kind of a Robert Eggers as far as what they have contributed. Mike Flanagan more so in like the miniseries, like he did Haunting of Hill House and the Haunting of Bly Manor, which I haven't seen either of those, but I've heard good things about.
Very good, very good, very good.
Yeah.
I'm working my way through Hill House right now.
Yeah, very good TV
Nice.
show.
I'm not gonna say the OG cast returning for what property is that, Tyler?
Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb is good.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. So the OG cast is returning for the revival. Woohoo!
That's when like the music clips in right now.
I'm gonna watch it. So
okay. And Alien Romulus is getting a VHS release, which you love to see. Some VHS media. Maybe some fucking companies should make VHS players.
Yes.
Convert them over to something, because Jesus Christ, I've had a VHS player out in my truck for like the past like month, and I've been meaning to hook it up, but it's just such a bitch to have to like, because I feel like you need to have your own dedicated VHS setup. You need to have the TV, you need to have the VHS player, you need to have your VHSs. Just make it more like user friendly if possible. But what do I know?
Dude, I would love for VHS to make a comeback. Let's bring.
I don't know if I still have it. At my mom's house, I had one of those like tiny TVs that had the little VHS slot like in the middle of it. I think she still has it over there, but I can't remember.
You need to look into that because those are going for like at least 200 to 300 on eBay now. Because I mean they're that sought after.
Mhm.
They need to make like a VHS player that's like compatible to like a HDMI or something like that. That shit would go hard.
My grandma had all kinds of stuff like that for her house burnt down. She had a bunch of like VHS like players and TVs with the slots in them and stuff like that because her basement was just full of junk. So
But again, as we say, just for any type of media that they think is just out of style, there's always a bell curve. You got the vinyls. Vinyls are making a comeback. I ordered a vinyl today. Got the VHSs. Got the physical media. Just big importance there. So, gentlemen, we dabbled on Tom Atkins' misogyny and his mustache and the curse of Dr. Dan. Sophia, Oz, topics, and just about everything.
show and tell.
Show and tell. So if you have made it this far, Avery, what do we have to tell the people?
Don't watch Season of the Witch. That's what I'll say first off. No, if you made it this far, make sure to subscribe and make sure to like. Sharing it also helps us. Our shorts are doing good, so if you like those, Brandon's doing an amazing job with those. I mean, he's up the game with the editing. You get a little preview of clips, and then you get every other funny thing that we do. He's doing really good at that. We do have a bunch of socials, so we got Twitter, X, whatever. We have Instagram and we have Letterboxd. What else do we have? TikTok. We do got TikTok, so go check that out. A lot of funny clips and a lot of news Tyler uploads. So just all around, we're everywhere, and we're trying to get more of an audience, and we're getting there. There's people commenting, there's people following and subscribing, and we like that engagement. So if you like anything that we talk about and you have a different opinion or the same opinion, leave it in the comments. We love to engage with people, and it's always fun. And throw out things that we could talk about. I mean, that's always great too. But the biggest thing is to subscribe because there's a lot more people watching that aren't subscribed than the people that are returning from being subscribed. So it helps not to ramble on. And don't watch Season of the Witch. That's my biggest take tonight. Just saying.
Subscribe, share. That's a big thing too. Share it on your story on Instagram. Share it on whatever you can share it on. Just share it. Support. Some four handsome lads just talking about Tom Atkins and some obscure topics and some not so obscure topics. I mean, we just cover all bases. We talk about drinks. We talk about food. We talk about mustaches. There's endless possibilities if you watch us. So do yourself a favor and subscribe, share, like, comment, whether you agree with us or not. Still subscribe.
Yeah, if you don't, you don't. You know what? Let's fight about it.
If you don't like my take, there is a 70 to 30% chance that Tyler is going to have the complete opposite take. So subscribe for that at least, because you're going to get some end of the spectrum as far as agreeance. Today, believe it or not, me and Tyler are on the same wavelength. So again, you get a variety of opinions on this show. So
when you're ready for some more Phineas and Ferb coverage, when this new season starts wrapping around, make sure to be subscribed because I'll be dropping that constantly on this.
Welcome back to our Phineas and Ferb podcast. Definitely not a Star Wars podcast. Definitely not a Batman podcast.
Hey, listen, our first Star Wars one will be the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, fuck.
All right. Well, hopefully we don't get fed to the Rancor, and back to the holding cells, I guess.
Oh yeah.